Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Craig Guyman, and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect for Binalyze. In today's video, what I'd like to be able to share with you is how to create and use acquisition profiles. There are two different ways to create acquisition profiles. From the console endpoint list, I have the ability to list the different endpoints that are in my organization. You'll notice I actually have two organizations listed, one for Binalyze and one for Blue Ridge Cyber. If I click on the computers or endpoints for Blue Ridge Cyber, you'll see the window correspondingly change to reflect the endpoints that are associated with that particular organization. From here, I have the ability to click on an endpoint and create a new acquisition profile, or I have the ability to come over to the left side, choose acquisition, and create acquisition profiles there and view existing acquisition profiles. When I do that, you can see a list of different acquisition profiles that come with Binalyze Air by default. Everything above Compromise Assessment is something that I've added to the system. If we click on New Profile, I'll illustrate to you today how to create a new acquisition profile that might include artifacts that are interesting and useful for you. Start by naming your acquisition profile. Blue Ridge Cyber 2 or BRC2. I'll associate this with all of my organizations so it can be used across all of them. And what I'd like to illustrate now is that Binalyze Air has the ability and flexibility to collect from a variety of different platforms, including Windows, Linux, Mac, and even eDiscovery type collections. If we focus on Windows collections right now, you'll notice that you have both evidence lists, artifact lists, custom content profile options, as well as network capture. And we'll go into all these over the next few minutes. If I start with evidence list, I can collapse each of these individual categories and share with you exactly all of the categories that we collect from today. This includes your system artifacts, disk level information including the MBR, memory information including the Hyperfill, major browsers including Chrome and Firefox, NTFS file system information including the MFT and the USN Journal, the major registry hives that are important in many investigations, network information including your TCP and UDP tables, event logs both in EVT and EVTX files, and the ability to collect them to a CSV file, Windows management instrumentation, process execution, a personal favorite of mine, including the AMCache and the SRUM, and other evidence categories including the jump lists, link files, superfetch, as well as RDP cache. If we scroll down to the Linux collection options, the options are largely the same, but Linux specific. The same thing is true of macOS collections. macOS specific types of artifacts can be collected from that platform. If we go into eDiscovery types, you have a variety of different platforms or categories that you can choose from. This is quite large. As you can see, there are over 1,000 different options here, but I'll quickly go over some of them, including the archives, cryptography, database, spreadsheet, and finance files, disk images, email types, 59 in fact email types, internet activity, macOS system files, miscellaneous documents, peer-to-peer files, picture, plain text, and program files, as well as sound and music, source code, text and word processing, Unix, Linux system files, as well as video files and Windows internal files. If we go back to Windows for just a moment, I want to quickly go over the artifact list, which also focuses on different server level files and logs, Microsoft specific applications, communication based files, social media artifacts, as well as productivity artifacts, utilities, developer tools, cloud artifacts, and antivirus logs, which are largely encompassing the most common AV files that you would run into today. And lastly, you have the ability to create custom content profiles. If I click on Add New, I have the ability to edit or utilize the full path that's given in this example. I can edit this to include any number of combinations of wildcards. So in this particular example, I'm looking for all users' documents, but if I'm looking for a very specific user's documents, I can put in the user's name, or I can use a wildcard to show all users and perform maybe all the desktop items that I want to collect from them. I also have the ability to either collect recursively through the file structure or only just get the files, which can be useful in a variety of different circumstances. You also have the ability to perform network captures using NetFlow and PCAP. When I select that, you'll notice that the duration capability is enabled, and I have the ability to select up to 60 minutes of network flow information for TCP and UDP that will store that to CSV, and the same thing is true of PCAP. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at Binalyze.com. Thank you and have a great day.